You're going to want to be sure it actually goes because I had a thing not go live.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking
10 minutes.
now.
So, okay, it looks like it worked on my end. I'm paranoid now, and I have to warn everyone. Like, it just did this to me like last week. Like, no joke, we'd been talking for 10 minutes, and it was like, now you're live. Like it said, we were live,
gosh, yeah,
it didn't transfer. It was a nightmare. Anyway, sorry. Beyond the point.
But no, it looks like we're actually live over there.
Yeah.
I guess I should share it out, shouldn't I? I'm bad at that.
No. Look, we're all a mess this week. It's fine. I thought it was at 7:30, and then I remembered it was at 7. It's fine. It happens. Like I had a moment. I was like, is it at 7:30 or 7? And I put it at 7:30 in my calendar, and then I went and looked, and I was like, no, it's at 7. What? Why did you put it at 7:30?
Don't know.
I just got the notification we're live, so that's good.
Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, we'll give it another couple minutes, see if anybody pops in before we start. So how's everybody been the last 5 weeks?
It's been crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I saw you had kind of a crazy haul.
Oh my gosh. Reprints galore. I'm like, oh my God. All at once. I'm like, ah!
I feel like they just started doing all the shoujo beats all at once.
Yeah.
It does feel that way though. I feel like we got a lot of shoujo beat reprints recently. Like it just feels like we got shoved a lot of things suddenly.
Hi, Capricia.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, all 4 of mine were from Viz, so I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
maybe
I gotta
we're getting out of print.
In Kimi ni Todoke, Kami-sama Kiss. I've got several that I need to play catch up on.
Yeah, Kami-sama Kiss is on my like next pickup list, possibly for my big series.
I have like the first 14 or 15. I just gotta finish it off.
Yeah,
I've got the first 3.
That one complete and Nana complete.
I have Nana complete now too. Well, because that volume 12 kept getting delayed. I was like, why is it volume 12 we can't get?
Yeah.
Because it's such a random one. Hi.
Well, you just would think it would be like the last volume. No, volume 12. Okay.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Like they reversed it or something because there's 21, right?
21.
Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah. I need them to reprint 6 and 7 of My Love Story, and then I can binge read that.
I love My Love Story. It's so cute. Anyways, so if this is your first time on one of these streams, we're going to be talking full spoilers about Yona of the Dawn volumes 6 through 10. So if you have not read them, you may not want to watch this stream just because we are going to be full spoilers. Because we're not going to hold back at all. We're going to tell you everything. I mean, I have clear tabs all over these. Because that way I don't mess up the art. I just write around it. That's why I like them.
Oh, then you're good to go because 38 just came out. So
yeah, 38 just barely came out. So you're good. Because they'll probably have it by the time we get there anyway. Because 39 will have been out by then. But yeah, so I say let's jump in. And if anybody else jumps in, we'll have them say hi as we go along. So overall feelings about these 5. We talked about it a little bit before the stream, but
I know I try so hard to not like message in the group chat like, oh my God, because I feel like every time I reread these, I'm just like, oh my God, randomly about things. I don't know about everybody else, but like I continue to be amazed at how much is packed in to these early volumes. And I don't feel like we're going to stop saying that. Like even when we get to volume 36, that there's so much packed in.
Yeah.
But it's wild to me how much plot happened over 5 volumes again. I was like, what? Right. We're already here?
I mean, we finish our dragon collection. We have run-ins and we make peace with someone from our past. Like there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Honestly, these are some of my favorite early volumes because I feel like in these volumes we see Yona's development so much stronger than we do later in the series.
Yes.
Because we always compare her to like volume 1 Yona. but I feel like she goes
Mhm.
so far from volume 1 Yona, even to volume 6 Yona, let alone volume 10 Yona. Like,
Yeah.
we even see growth from here to here. Like,
Yep.
it's amazing
Yeah.
the growth that we see from Yona so quickly that I really just appreciate these volumes so much for that. And this is just one of my favorite back covers. Can I just say, like, they're just adorable and precious, and I love them.
They're so cute.
Right? So, shall we dive into specific volumes and share our thoughts and feelings?
Does Mark have any thoughts besides me screaming, "Oh my god," because I totally interrupted her if she did?
I did too.
No.
you're fine.
I totally agree.
I feel like we're all in agreement, probably. So
Yeah, there's just so many things that I've forgotten about, like Senna's whole like after the fact when he uses his power. I totally forgot about all of that.
My precious bean.
And
Love
just yeah. And the first time I read it, I did not like him whatsoever, but now I'm kind of like, he's okay. He's cool.
Well, the thing about him, when we get there, we'll talk a little more about it. But like, we see him grow and develop from the first time we see him in volume 1 to that point in volume 10 where we run into him again, because so many things have happened even to him through what's been going on with Yona that he has also changed. And so it's just really cool to see his development as well.
Yeah.
It's wild how much every single character grows and develops over the series, because even when we meet our yellow dragon, he's very different in these first few
than the yellow dragon
volumes
that we know in the later volumes for sure.
And
just seeing that Xeno is very different.
It's weird.
Like I was like very after volume 18, you feel completely different about Xeno, but we'll get there when we get to volume 18. Where we all cry and it's fine. We're used to it.
We're fine.
So let's jump into volume 6, another volume that makes me cry just because I love it so much. So let's see. We're dealing a lot with J-Ha and his stubbornness in this volume.
And the pirates.
Because we're just headed into that now. And he's just so set in his ways, he won't really listen. But at the same time, Yona's decisions, small though they may be, are starting to win him over because he's starting to learn a little bit about her character. And it's not just because she's cute, because it's very clear that he pushes her boundaries on purpose.
He does. My
and then we just get more Hawk and Yona being the most adorable thing.
They're so cute.
Love it.
So precious.
I particularly in this volume, and I liked it the first time, but I really loved seeing her take on the task of gathering the herb on the side.
Well, I just love the moment where they like easily knock out her guys, and he's like, "So you want us?"
Yeah, that too is always fun. But yeah, I felt like this one was like her very much taking on the task of like, no, we're gonna do whatever we have to do to let us help you with this, because that's what we're gonna do.
Right here, this panel. This is my task. And, just her taking ownership of it and doing it herself.
And it's kind of the
and
first
the whole
she's really
side segment is so good with J-Ha, because this is truly where Yona starts to win him over, because she's like, no, I need to do this. And he's like, no, you're dumb. And she's like, no, I need to do it. It's mine. Oh, right here, this panel. Like that moment where you see like that fear in her eyes all of a sudden. So good.
It's so good.
And I love how she's just automatically like honest that he helped her. And just like the moment where she like does get it is so sweet.
It is.
And just the look of shock
I just
on
have to point this out because like just these little side panels are always so good to me. Like I just love it so much.
Yeah, I just think that's interesting to see her take on a task as strongly as she did in this one, because it's not that she's not taken on tasks, but she's always kind of had help and support from everyone else. But this is her like doing it by herself and like, no, I have to do it alone. And it just endears me to Yona even more.
And I love that Grandma Pirate Lady gets it, and she just earns so much respect for Yona for doing it.
I love their relationship so much.
I love their like pseudo mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
And then, Hawk over here just subtly being like, I'm entrusted to her care. And my little comment was, you want her as a lover. You just don't want to admit it. Because that's exactly what he wants, and we all know it. And then just more the whole honey thing, where he's trying to clean up her hands with honey. Like,
I love that moment so much.
Yeah, like, can we just have some respect for the mangaka for the
just the way the hands are too. Just
then he's just like what am I doing?
She knew what they were doing. They were like, I'm gonna give you this.
Well, the mangaka knows. And then we have Hawk a couple pages later. What am I doing? I'm like, yes, let her see. Because he's like, don't let her see your desire now. I'm like, yes, give it to her, please.
Like Moondyke, that was my dad growing up. He would get the needle to get out the splinter. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my dad.
And like J-Ha's purposely like needling Yona with Hawk comparisons sometimes, and Hawk is like, don't compare me to him. Just their banter is so good. Best bromance in the series.
It is the best.
And then when they start to go scouting and she's just having a great time playing around with him and he just like sees her joy coming out. It's just such a really beautiful moment.
It is. I agree.
And we get the info dump of what's going on in the town. And then Yona volunteers to go and fire the flare from the ship. Which is so good. And everybody's like, I'll dress in drag. It's like, no one will believe you. And Yoon to the rescue.
As always. Yoon always has to come to the rescue in those situations.
Right? I love Yoon. Like, Yoon is so underrated in this series. I mean, we talk about Hawk and J-Ha, Sheena all the time.
Yeah.
But Yoon, especially, like, I appreciate Yoon a whole lot more after reading volume 6 and 7. I mean, I always liked Yoon. I've never disliked Yoon, but, like, it's just different.
I feel like there's a lot more to appreciate now, though. Like, I feel like we know so much of where Yoon's character arc is headed. Rereading it, that you're like, oh yeah, this all tracks. This is all there. Same thing, like the foundation's being laid for Yona's like actions moving forward. Just in volume 6 alone.
Can we just talk about this like found family mama moment? Like it just warms my cute little heart. I love them.
They're adorable.
And then I just want to tie you up. Like, why'd you have to use those words? My kinky soul went there. Because my comment here is, and do what to her, Hawk? Share the fantasy, buddy. Like,
I know.
And then he's over here, like, secretly, like, powering her up, and he's like, she's gonna pull this off. It'll be fine. And I'm just like, you trust her. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then they get taken in, and then Yoon's just playing bodyguard and realizing how far he's going to have to go to protect her. And Yona doesn't even realize how far he's really going to go. And we see Yona's brain working really well while they're undercover. And then as they're talking, they're just sharing their little bits of hope with the people on the ship and all that kind of stuff. And then all the dragons start to warm up to each other. And then operation time. Which is the end of volume 6. Was there anything else in volume 6 we needed to talk about? We went pretty thoroughly through it.
Yeah, I think I missed. No. My only other note was just seeing reluctant J-House start to like actually care.
Yeah.
/ show he cares. Because we kind of knew we know he cares, but like he starts to show it that he's more interested in like helping them, but he's just never done that. So like it's scary for him to like change groups.
Right. And then I just have to show the cuteness because the cuteness, like
I need that on an actual cover. Front.
Right?
The backs
we
are
get
like
some really
just
good
as
covers
beautiful as the front.
Coming up.
We do. You're not wrong. We're coming up.
Okay.
On favorites.
On to volume 7.
Yeah.
This one made me chuckle a lot today, especially the latter half of
I enjoyed that one a lot.
But in volume 7, like, this is where Yona genuinely starts to show her strengths and how much she's really grown as they go through this operation, and her little bits of sharing hope with everybody is paying off. And then we really just see how clever and smart Yoon really is in this volume.
Yes.
With the way they deploy everything. And then when Yoon intentionally gets captured, just this look on Yona's face is just, it's everything. Like, these 3 panels tell their own story even without the words. That's one thing I love about this manga, because they're really great at using panel layouts to tell their entire story.
Yeah.
And then she steals the flyer off of Yoon, gets it lit, and we have Sheena see it. And I'm like, go get him, sweetie.
Just the way she looks.
Yes. I love her fierceness. Like, I really feel like these 2 volumes, she comes into it.
Yeah.
I love this one where Jae-ha officially lands on the ship. Like,
yeah.
Like, I've creased the page so much because I look at it so often.
Yeah, we really see, like, that fierceness show up. Like, we see it, like,
we see this side of Yona right after with Yoon. And I just love them. And the art for Sheena in this particular volume is just so good. So good. Him in battle poses is just like a thing for me. We're just not gonna talk about it.
He always looks good in his battle
I love
poses.
that Ao like shows up like just
Al's just randomly there, and I love him for
everywhere.
Yeah.
But I also really loved this moment where Hawk truly acknowledges how much Yona's grown because she took out the guy herself. She's like, nope, he's not hurting anybody I love, and he's not going to hurt any more girls. This has to end. And she takes the matters into her own hands and does it. Yeah.
Yeah. So fierce.
Ugh, that Pam. She just, like, I just really feel like you feel like she's learning to be a badass in volumes 1 through 5, and then in volumes 6 and 7, you're like, oh, no, you are a badass now.
Is what?
You've got that sorted. You are it.
And then it's funny because I noticed this time, like, after the confrontation, like, you can see all that royal training she went through, like, coming out in little things, like how she speaks to people afterwards. Even though she looks all dinged up and stuff, you still see that little royal part of her come through. And then, of course, we have Jae-ha wanting to start the party with his little stringed instrument. Like, he is always the heart of the party, but he also knows that Mom wants to disband the pirate crew.
Yeah.
After this, now that this job is done. And then we just get to see everybody enjoying themselves. We get to see Hawk being protective. We get to see Yona laughing with friends. And it's just, everything about that is so nice.
It is.
Is that a piece?
Yes.
Okay.
The door's closed.
Yeah.
So
we also have the moment where Jae-ha starts to say goodbye to everybody. And it's just very Jae-ha and very sweet in its own way. Like, I love this moment with Mom, especially with the pirate mom.
I do too. It's really cute.
You can tell that he genuinely cares about her.
Yeah, and just like, it's meant a lot to him to be part of the pirates, so it's hard to say goodbye, which I feel like it's the struggle we see some of in 6 too, where he's like, I know I need to join them. Like, you can tell he knows he needs to join them. Like, he can feel
but he doesn't want to leave them.
The call and the pull, but he doesn't want to leave the pirates. And she's like, no, we're disbanding. Almost in a way because she knows he needs to go with them. cut potentially, I feel like.
And you know,
So that's
then we're
nice.
out walking around town and we run into this one.
I forgot that he showed up in this volume, first of all. Completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I knew he was going to pop in. I just didn't know it was this one.
Then you turn the page and you both see their eyes change. Because he truly sees what he's done to her. And she's like, what is he doing here? Just like this whole moment is such a mood.
Well, because like he's just been hiding in the castle as far as they know at this point, right? And hasn't left really to go investigate the land and see what's actually going on.
Yeah,
like the kingdom.
And then of course he gets called by his troops and he immediately hides her under his cloak because he doesn't want them to see her. And he's like, quiet, keep still. And while he's chatting with them and she's there, she finds his sword, but he catches her trying to take it out anyway. And that all hits so different now because then
doesn't it?
We turn the page and he's like, do you want to kill me? This panel hits so different now.
It does, doesn't it? It's so weird reading this panel. This is where I say if somebody's watching this because I've read all the volumes and have never gone back to these two volumes, this one and the next one, I think they're one that I'm going to go back to, like, again, even before we're done reading this, just to see how much it shifts. Like, if we get another,
and then after he says goodbye to her and leaves her safely, we have this.
Yeah.
Because it brought all that grief right back to the front. Because it's not only the grief of her father, it's the grief of her home. It's the grief of the person she was madly in love with. And the grief of one of her best friends.
Yeah.
And then when Hawk finds her, like,
it's so good.
I just love that moment. Because Hawk knows, even though she says nothing, like, because he knows her mood, he knows. And then we get all the shock reactions from her, and she's just like dribbling on herself, and she's about to change in front of everybody, and of course, Hawk is like, no, don't show anybody the goods. Like, go change over there.
Yes.
And then, you know, Jeha, of course, you know, gets whacked in the face and has a bloody nose. And honestly, I love his, like, blushing reaction to Hawk and his behavior right there. Because it's like, really are just a chaotic bi and we love you for it, right? Right.
Yeah.
Yes. That's who he is to me. He is peak chaotic bi, and that's awesome. And then, of course, little Sheena sends Al with her on purpose. He's like, ow. And, like, just sends her off because he knows she's not okay, but he can only help so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, asking Hawk if he'll go with her, and his response to her is, you got it. You know, I'm just like, they're so cute. And then, of course, everybody else is hanging out around the corner, and it's like, of course we're going to go with you. And then Mom sending the herbs with them, and just like all of her reactions to their goodbye because she became so attached to them while she was there, and running up and hugging her and
family.
About it. I just love them. That whole moment is so good. And then later we have the "Take me with you, Yona" moment, which filled my soul. It's like, yes, you had to be the one to ask this time because you've been such a bum about it. And then we just get a really, really fun chapter, which is all about Sale and like a love potion about it, and all the weird shenanigans that happen just made my heart so happy.
There's such a silly chapter, and I loved it. It's what you needed, though. This volume is so this volume, I think, perfectly captures the series because it has every emotion in it.
Yeah,
but I feel like I went through all the emotions. I was excited, I was sad, I was upset, I was mad. Like, we just went through every stage possible of emotions, and then at the end, I was laughing because of that little chapter.
I know, and that's one thing that the mangaka does really well. She really balances lighthearted moments with the serious stuff really, really well for me. And that's part of what I really appreciate about her. And we have another character that will add to that coming up in volume 8. So when we dive in here, we have Jeha sharing at least a pseudo backstory. And Hawk is like, don't trust anything he says. Just because that's who they are. And then, hi, Zeno.
Yeah, he just pops up.
He just pops up and he's like drooling and hungry. And they take him all in and they're like, yep, that's actually the yellow dragon. So we found everybody now.
I just love all their faces when they figure it out.
I know, right?
I forgot that he just appears. He's just like, hi, I'm here. We're not going to go on another quest for the last dragon.
Yeah.
And then we have this moment where if you were a dragon, you'd be the evil dark dragon. And Hawk's over here. I like the sound of that. Oh, I love it.
It's the birth of the dark dragon and the happy hungry bunch.
I know. I love it. And then, we have the moment where Yona formally introduces herself to Zeno and really knows that Zeno's different and that he is the dragon, even though he's not admitted as much, really. But Zeno has his secrets for a reason. And I love him.
So we do find out semi soon.
Yeah, relatively soon. And then we've got shenanigans featuring Zeno in the morning. And I love that because he's just this little ball of sunshine, just like she says. And it's great. And then we have the let's pay Iksu a visit and just Yona's face. She's like, yeah, I'm good with that. It's so great.
I forgot Iksu shows up again.
Did too.
I love
just
it.
Collapsed because of course he is.
And his house is a wreck.
And
because
now
of course it is.
Yeah. We can't expect anything different from Iksu. He's Iksu.
No. Exactly. He's a
and then once they're there, we have Zeno asking Yona the tough questions. Now that we're all gathered, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
He's like, but I don't have a lot of power. Sweetheart, you do. You just don't want to talk about it because people abuse your power. But anyway. And then we have Yona making her decision about how they still want to travel and they can't fix what they want to fix behind palace walls. And then we have this moment, the reveal with Iksu that she couldn't draw her sword. Like, she just couldn't because she still cares about him. And just going through all of that was amazing. And having Hawk around the corner listening to all of it and taking it all in for himself was such a good moment. And then we get into the Suwon portion of this volume, which hits very different now for me. Because of what I know in later volumes about Suwon, all of this feels so different. Because I feel like his sweet, kind of innocent moments are more of his true personality, but he can bring out his darker, ruthless side when he needs to. And that's kind of why people don't know what to do with him.
Yep.
And he and General Gunte end up having their little discussions. And then he asks him straight up. He's like, at your coronation, talking about changing this nation, were you speaking the truth? And Suwon says yes, because he does want to change things. And then we get into the mock battle. Even though Gunte wants a real battle. And then there's this moment where Suwon just says, General Gunte, you have no idea how endearing you are. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think he understands. And I love Gunte's wife. Like, she is just so pure. I love her. Yeah. And I love that he's a marshmallow for her. It's really, really cute. Especially when she's like fawning over all the like formal garb that he has on.
Yeah.
It's great.
She called him cute.
Like, their couple dynamic is like one of my favorites in this series. Like, I've established. True. They're just so funny.
Yeah. But I also love, like, as soon as the mock battle starts and he has his people go up and it's like, we surrendered to you. He's like, don't you mock me. I can win this. And then they start to, like, be serious. And then, of course, he wipes them out. But he didn't want them just pandering to the situation. Yeah. And then the moment Suwon starts to show how clever he's been about the whole thing with him is just crazy. And just this whole interaction really is revealing that Suwon is smart enough to run the country to this general, and that he has moments of ambition and moments where he wants to win. But at the same time, like, he knows that it's better if he doesn't. And so he plays it off with his mischievous, younger side and all those kinds of things. It's fantastic because he like very masterfully does politics.
Agreed.
Which is
and it's a way that you don't always notice.
Yeah. And then he has this moment where he says, if we ever really go to war, the Earth Tribe soldiers would likely fight with more spirit than anyone else. They're a tremendous asset to Koka. Because like he realizes like the strength that he has there. And he doesn't want to necessarily abuse that, but he wants it on his side when he needs it. And then, we turn over and Yona's trying to pull Hawk's sword out while they're sleeping. Because she wants to learn the sword. She wants to be able to protect herself.
Which is valid.
And then, of course, Hawk is like, oh, you should take better care of your skin instead.
Such a butt.
Such a butt. And then Jaeha and his concealed weapons and burying his chest wounds just because he can. Like,
yeah. It's Jaeha. He has to.
Poor Senna, too.
Oh, yeah, right?
Takes his sword and then she cuts herself and he's all upset.
He has to run away. He's like,
he runs away.
Legitimately. And then, we just have Hawk being sweet to Yona to make sure she doesn't catch cold. And we just love that because that's their dynamic. And then, so cute. So good.
So cute.
I love it. And the back of this one is Fierce Yona, and I love Fierce Yona. We love Fierce Yona in this house. All right.
Somebody's knife.
Right.
Do you feel like...
I think that's the ceremonial sword again.
I think so.
Maybe. Do you feel like... Because I know I left Volume 8, like, surprised at how much more I sympathized with Suwon. I just didn't. I mean, I knew it was coming, but I also didn't expect it at the same time. I was like, I feel like revisiting this volume is going to be weird because I feel like there's going to be stuff where I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Suwon in general right now.
Gives me like weird, like we talked about the prophecy last time, and we obviously rehashed the prophecy again, and who the sword and the shield are. And I'm like, maybe our theory is correct.
I honestly think it is.
I don't think we're wrong either. I just am like, okay. Like rereading this volume really cemented it.
They'll be revealed in time. Like, and with the things that happen in later volumes that we know, and how fiercely protective certain people are of Yona in their ways. Like,
yeah. I'm kind of wondering though, couldn't Yona be the sword? Because she is just, we see pictures of her with the sword. And we see, in this one, we see her trying to learn skills with the sword. And I'm like, hold on. So does that mean that the
shield?
The shield, I feel like could be Hawk or Suwon. Well, it had to be Hawk because then Suwon would be the monarch. What was it? The monarch. That's what it was. And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Go that way, but
could. But I just feel like this volume gave me more vibes that he is also the shield and Hawk's the sword and she's the monarch.
Right. Well, yeah, because he did shield her from the people, but I don't know.
And we see, and I mean,
he's also shielding her by trying to make sure the kingdom's prepared for her.
Yeah,
that's what I wonder. Yeah, like as we've continued reading some things, like I mean, it's going to come back up as we keep going with these volumes. I feel like where we're like, but is he shielding her or is she? I don't know. It's another good option though. She could be the sword,
and
not the monarch.
I don't know.
All right.
Because she's kind of training to like, well, as we continue with the bandits.
Yeah.
I feel like that's her like training to potentially at least help the kingdom, even if she's not the monarch. So
yeah. Exactly.
Okay, volume 9. Sorry, I just had to be like, I
just need to take a moment for this cover with.
It's so good.
Just so being cute, so precious to her, right? And then Yoon's gonna go out and do just some community service, as I guess we could say, and then everybody else is like, "But I want to come." You snuck off. We were curious where you went. We want to go with you. I love them for that. And then we have them trading up with their growling stomachs.
I know.
That was so funny while they're doing all of this, because they're like, no, I don't need to eat. Growl. And then we learn that the fire tribe is there, and Yona immediately is like drawing her bow. She's like, no, not the fire tribe. I already have issues with them. And she's just like on it, and she is fierce, and she is ready. And then, of course, Jaeha's going to go out and stop everything. And Hawk is, but he's just going to throw Sheena's fur over his face so nobody sees him. And Ao's just chilling.
And then like you just see him like somehow in the corner like shaking because he's always cold, and I'm just like, so funny. And I feel this.
And then
deeply.
Without his fur, he's shaking even more.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm so cold.
And this is where the name of the Happy Hungry Bunch comes up, and they call Yona boss, and I love it. The Dark Dragon and the Happy Hungry Bunch. And Yoon is like, Iksu, when you said we're going to shake up Coco, what were you picturing? And then we just have to give General Guntae and his wife a moment, because
so cute.
I just love them. They're so precious. Because they really just genuinely care about each other. And I love that so much. And then, we have the reveal of somebody else to the Happy Hungry Bunch. And just that whole thing where Hawk like has the thing like over his eyes mostly, and Yona's got her eyes covered with her bangs and the hood, and Zeno's just like, hi, over in the corner. And this is where we get into like art that I'm like madly obsessed with and in love. It's whenever Sheena's in battle, like the way that she artistically draws him with like his fur like flowing in the wind. And all of that is so good. And then she talks to him about his eyes, and she's like, please let me see your eyes, because she finds them so beautiful. And he like starts to panic about it. And you just see her comforting him. I love this whole moment. And she's like, you don't have to. I won't ask again. I'm so sorry. And then they're just precious. I just love them. And I love how the kid's running around like stealing swords and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I like this part where the kid's like raising his arms and then I was over here doing the same.
But then we get to a point where new bandits come in, starting to hurt the kid. Yona's not going to stand for it. And then she gets herself in trouble. Like telepathically, she's like, Sheena. And he's like, wait, what? I must find her. And he immediately goes, and I'm just like, I love their connection so much.
Yeah.
And then just like this whole moment here, these two panels, like, how can you not appreciate these? Like,
they're so good.
You just can't. It's not possible. But I love that it goes both ways, because she realizes he's there before she sees him.
Yeah.
And so their communication isn't just one way, and she's doing everything she can to protect him. And then he's like, give Yona back to me. And he unleashes his power. And this whole moment where this is going on just changes him for a moment because it's been pent up for so long. And like this panel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wild. Like when we get to see his power unleashed for the first time on page, I think it's just really interesting and intense. Like his power is scary.
Oh yeah.
Like when the guy's screaming about his arm and his arm's still there when Yoda's
sitting. But at the same time, we just have him over here being like, it feels so good to see. And like, so it's just this weird double-edged sword for this poor boy. And I just love him.
I too.
And then like he's able to zero in on their hearts and he's like, if I touch it, will it break? And that whole moment like just takes on a whole different tone for me now. Because you can see that the power is trying to overtake him. And Yona realizes that that's what's going on. And she immediately jumps in front of him and she's like, no, you need to stop.
Yeah.
And she's doing everything she can to get his attention. And then this whole interaction where she's like, look right into my eyes. I need you to look directly at me. But no matter what, I will never avoid your eyes. Come on, what's the matter? And they just have this moment where she's basically put herself in his way to be devoured. And his eyes are shining like newborns. Just this whole interaction. And like she basically comes in and tries to like tame the dragon itself. And then she reminds him that she's his moonlight. And that's what wakes him up. And I like had a whole moment.
It's so cute. I know. That moment got me big time on my reread.
She's like, you finally heard my voice. And then, of course, he is paralyzed and he explains more about how his power works and why he doesn't unleash it.
Yeah. I've forgotten about all that, like the paralyzation and stuff.
I did too.
And just exactly
just so
what.
Sweet, and he's crying and they just have a moment and it's beautiful. And I love it. And I love this moment where all the dragons are like trying to jump in the tent and see what's going on with him. And Yoon's just like, get out, you're in the way. And then, you know, we've got Yoon and Yona having a little moment there just about how they both have hard work to do to get this where they want it. And then the whole I'll sleep with Hawk moment. He drops the sticks.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. He's like, sure, that's fine. And then we've got everybody else being like, it's risky. The Thunder Beast is a real beast. I'm not like you, droopy eyes. Why does my chest hurt? Why not sleep with Zeno sometime, young lady? Sorry, Zeno. I'd rather be with Hawk. Hawk is on floor. I love them. And then she's like cuddled up next to Hawk and she's like, doesn't this remind you of when it was just the two of us? And of course he's like, no, not really. Can't cuddle her the way he wants to because everyone else is around. And then she tries to steal his sword again. If you're going to attack me in my sleep, you should at least try to make it sexy, Your Highness. I'm just like, he's really not holding back as much as he used to. And it makes my heart real happy. And I just really love it. And then the command, like this whole interaction was so good for me because she asked him to make sure that she remained royal. And so he's basically forcing her into one of those moments where she doesn't forget who she is. And then we jump over to the Fire Tribe and we see that Taejun's not doing so hot right now. Like his black eyes and his like jerky face is amazing. And then, you know, he's told by his brother, you're going to go capture this bunch of bandits. Because he can't stop thinking about Yona and what happened with her when she fell off the cliff. He assumed she died. And so we're dealing with his aftermath of all of that. And then while we're in this village, he hears her voice. while his men are like being attacked by the happy hungry bunch as well as him, he hears Yoda's voice and he's like, huh? What? No way. That voice, that has to be hers. And he's like fighting back with all of his might. Like, it's amazing. And then, Giza just hoists him on his shoulder and tosses him away. Because that's just what they do. Oh, Volume 9 was so good. So much good in Volume 9.
Yeah.
It's such a good volume.
It really is. Y'all ready for the last one?
I think so. Yeah. I didn't take any notes on 9. I was just like, okay, we're here. We're doing this.
Yep.
And then because he heard Yona's voice, he starts to have fantasies about Yona because he did have romantic feelings for Yona at one point. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I have a reason to live again. So his men are like,
give me my food.
Let's see. And as we're going along, this whole moment where Zeno saves the soup, I thought was really like eye-opening for him, for Taejun to experience.
Yeah, I felt like that was a turning point for him.
It really was. And then he hears Yona's voice again, and this panel, I just can't with his face.
Like I love how he's like losing his mind, like hearing her, like thinks he's like losing it.
Yeah.
And then he goes running right into Hawk. And Hawk's fire. And then he accidentally sends up the flare.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
And I was like, there's a light in the sky. Lots of soldiers are headed this way. Like, and so they all start to gather. And then, of course, Hawk is like, I'd rather kill you right here than risk it. And my comment there is so ruthless for his love. And then, Zeno kind of realizes what's going on. And he's like, the young lady's livelier than any of us. Mm-hmm. And so you see that he's kind of grieving a little bit. And then Yona shows up. And I just love the art for her because it really is kind of dreamlike. Mm-hmm. And with the way he thinks about her that way.
It fits.
It fits so well. And of course, then he's immediately like bowing and trying to apologize. And I'm so glad you're doing well. Right? He's like, look at my face.
He's melting.
He's like,
she's like, whoa.
Like he's such a disaster of a person.
He really is.
And we do get to kind of watch him get it together. But it's just like beforehand, you're like, you're a
And then
mess.
Of course he's like thanking her for being alive, and she's just laughing.
Yeah, it makes her laugh.
And she lets him go to like stop his people. Mm-hmm. And he goes running through the fire
flaming arrows
with the flaming arrows. And it was great. And then, at the end of that chapter, in a lot of ways, he's like, well, initially he's like, I could never capture you to Yona. Like, even though like technically she's on the run, he couldn't do it. And then the next day he wakes up and he's like, I want to see her.
He is such a mess.
He really is. He really
is. Ridiculous.
I had 3 dreams in which you accidentally broke your word. I wanted to kill you. I love Hawk and his protectiveness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Yona over here with Taejun handing out food. Mm-hmm. And then she said, could I make our nation more equal? Because she wants to do what she can to help people. And he sees that, and he sees her strength in that side of politics that he's obviously not familiar with, because no one in the Fire Tribe seems to be. And then he keeps stealing food from his own base.
I know.
To give to the people in the village, which I love. Mm. And then, of course, he's literally running around like a lovesick puppy, blushing all the time. And it's great. I really, really like this segment with him. And especially when they're with the older lady and he's like trying to rub her shoulders and she's like, ow, it hurts.
So
Where's
funny.
the sexy dark-haired one? But Yona's just over in the corner, tap, 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 tapping away, fixing the hole.
I loved the old lady and her obsession.
And then immediately Hawk shows up and is like rubbing her and she's like, shoulders. Love it. And then sharing the knowledge about her son and about how he was taken by the fire tribe and stuff is really eye-opening for him because it's eye-opening his part of the kingdom as well to him. Not just that the people are suffering, but that they're doing
There's no one
constantly.
to help do the work, you know, too, I feel like, because the men are just gone.
Yeah. And I just love this chapter start because Al's like in spirit. He's like, "Oh, I will help you," even though he's not doing anything. So cute. It's just so cute. I had to point that out real fast. And then they show up in the even worse village, and Taejun really starts to see what's going on and the tax issues and things like that. So he's doing everything he can, and then he sees that soldier sick, and then he's like, "Okay, I will take care of him." And then they just keep going, and the soldiers start to change because he has changed.
Yeah,
they love seeing that chain reaction.
I love how much he changes over like the 2 volumes as far as his beliefs and what he's gonna do.
Yeah, because you have Yona here saying, "I'm glad I had the chance to meet you now. That's the truth."
Yeah,
and then she leaves. And then it was like, did she just confess her feelings? And it's like, no, she didn't. And I just love this change that's going through the nation now. And he keeps doing everything he can to try to make changes in his own way. And then Zeno over here saying, I think you're going to become someone important to Coca.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember him showing up in any more volumes, really. But I don't know.
I think we see him again for a minute, but I don't remember.
We see him in 37.
Okay. Well, I haven't read that yet, so I'll tell you tomorrow. We'll see.
And then she comes over and like has a little private moment with him, which I really appreciated and just thought was lovely.
I agree.
And he just wants her to be happy. And I just thought that was really, really sweet.
It was.
And that's basically the end of the volume. Because he then declares he wants to make the land beautiful. And it's just lovely. I really love
these are 2 very like sweet volumes. Like to wrap up our little set of like getting to see a character. Like literally we see a full character arc like in 2 volumes for him.
Right.
And him really learning and growing. From Yona and the gang just being there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that so much.
And by the way, hi Jazz, we did see you pop in.
I agree. I also think 9 might be my favorite.
Like if I had to pick a favorite out of those, it's going to be 6 or 9.
Yeah.
Then again, 7's really good too. Because that's where we see the most. They're all just so good. I can't pick. If I was forced to, I would have to choose 9 because it's more Sheena heavy and he's my fave. So, not my fave to be with Yona, but just as a character, as a human being, he is my favorite. But yeah, that was a really good set of volumes. Like, this just seals the deal that as soon as this one finishes, it will probably be my all-time favorite. Right now, that's currently Sacrificial Princess because it's finished, and that's why I think the only thing that could usurp it at this point is Yona.
Yeah, and I don't think Yona's going to end bad.
No, if it ended bad, like I would be so angry.
No, but like rereading it,
at the way the story is progressing and going, I don't think it will.
That it's not going to be a bad ending.
Yeah,
some people do not land mistaken.
He's not in 37.
Okay,
I think he was. I feel like he popped up somewhere in the 30s, though.
He might have.
I just popped up for a second. It wasn't for very long.
I'm not good at remembering people who were in these first like 15 volumes popping up again later. But I also inhaled these very quickly.
Yes,
like I think I read volume 1 through 20 something like super fast.
You did all of that like in a week or something. It was insane.
It was wild.
It's like me reading all of Demon Slayer in 2 days. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It was like mid-pandemic though, I think too. So I'd like gotten it from the library and I just read all of it. I also have this weird thing where when I get my manga from the library, I like have to read it quickly and then return it, so I don't forget. So I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, I loved this little set of 5. I'm really excited.
Chaz is a girl after my own heart. Like
I know. I mean, it's also my favorite, so I'm with you. Of the dragons.
Yes, he is my favorite dragon.
But Hawk is like love of my life.
Yeah, I think Jayha's my favorite.
A lot of people love Jayha and his chaotic
like him and Sinha are like tied almost. Like he would be like close second for the dragons.
And see, for me, it would be Zeno.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see that, but he makes me too sad.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
So I can't.
With Zeno.
Yeah, I think it goes Jayha, Zeno, Sinha, and Gija.
Yeah, Gija's my least favorite. I mean, he's not a bad
character. He's not bad.
He's just not my favorite.
He's
just kind of like hanging around. I feel like sometimes using his claw, throwing people. Like he's just chill.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have like anything that like makes him stand out to me enough to be a favorite.
Yeah,
to be a top 2.
I agree. He doesn't have any sort of
people are
real backstory. I mean,
he's a good
spoiled brat.
I think that's part of why I don't like him as much either. He's raised a spoiled brat, and that's just not my. Like my
it's not my job.
My job.
I get you.
Yeah,
it's my job to be the spoiled brat in the relationship.
Oh, I'm so excited to keep going with this real It is seriously, it gave me so much joy to just sit and read a bunch of volumes today to catch up because I had been so behind and not reading anything at all. Like it was exactly what I needed today.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the next 5.
I'm really excited for the next 5 too. It's gonna be so good.
And I feel like all of our lives are somehow falling on the 12th. So I also think that's funny.
Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3.
I think the first one was on the 5th, but like 5. The way it lines up in my calendar, it looks like they're all falling from the same almost.
Yeah. So the most likely, wait, is the 16th Easter or anything?
Yes. So we're gonna have to do either during that week or the next weekend.
Okay.
Or the weekend before. No, that's Orthodox.
No, Easter is the 9th.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's
You're right. That's Orthodox Easter. That's why I messed it up.
Oh,
because it was showing both Easters on my calendar, and I was like, huh?
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 16th will probably be the next one, I would think.
Okay. That's essentially what we'll plan on for now. If anything changes, we'll let you know. But yeah, that's the most likely day because it tends to be a good day for all of us.
It does. The volume 11 through 15?
Yes. 12, 13, 14. Yes, 11 through 15 is fine.
I have to double check my math every time because I want to.
I know. I had to like count it out on my hand.
11, 12, 13. I was doing it too. You just couldn't see me doing it. I was like 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 11 through 15 will be the next set. I'm super excited. I need to go in the Discord and add a chat for 11 through 15, but I'm loving it. It's such a good series. Like I will stand by like even on reread, I think it's better. And that's saying something. It's not all series on reread are better.
No, I know.
There have been some series I've reread and then unhauled. So
yeah.
And they were ones that I loved on a first read.
Yeah, this I wasn't nervous about our read through of this. I was like, I'm gonna like this. I don't think it's gonna be a problem.
I was excited.
So.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Same. Well, and it's still going, which helps too. It's not like it's a reread of a complete series necessarily, where it's like there's a chance of me being like, no, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for more of the babies. being goofballs and badasses, you know, just all the things. As I drop stuff.
Yep.
Yay, Capricia. Keep going. We love Yona too. So
She's
thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it. Life has been tough for me today, and so this is exactly the pickup I needed. So it was great.
Good.
So thank y'all for being here, and we'll see you guys in 5 weeks for the next one.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's good.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.